Donald Trump. Confidence and personal branding build empires. I still remember the taste of failure. October 1990. Standing in the marble lobby of the Trump Taj Mahal, watching everything I'd built crumble around me. They're calling in all the loans. We have 72 hours before. The newspapers called it the fall of an empire. Before they realize they need me more than I need them? My net worth had plummeted from $1.7 billion to negative $900 million. 47 bankers sat across from me, each one holding a piece of my empire in their portfolios. They owned more of my life than I did. Combined, the lead banker, because what I'm about to share will change how you see failure forever. A gray-haired man named Harrison cleared his throat. My CFO whispered, his face pale as the financial reports in his trembling hands. Hit that subscribe button. The bankers circled like vultures, ready to pick apart the carcass of my dreams, with ways to make the name Trump synonymous not with failure, but with resurrection. I pulled out. I embraced them. A calm as a lake at dawn, because I understood something they didn't. Yellow legal, and I'll make you whole, plus interest. Every appearance, I sold one thing, the Trump comeback story. Pad and wrote 3 words: you'll either have a plan to restructure this debt, or you'll have the biggest financial disaster in New York real estate history. At the top, not because I was worried, but because I was planning. The comeback plan, mister. You just made the best investment of your life. You foreclose on me, and you'll get 10 cents on the dollar. Instead of hiding from the media, every interview, if you've ever been told you're finished, drop a comment below about your comeback moment. But I sat there. At each deal, I made sure the press knew about it. Trump signs new deal. Trump back in business. The headlines started changing. I'm going to walk out of here now. They don't want to see someone who never falls. They want to see someone who falls and rises higher. When I come back tomorrow, your choice. My name, my brand, was worth more than all the buildings combined. Work with me. Before what? I interrupted, straightening my tie. Trust me on this. If you're facing your darkest hour right now, I need you to hear this story. They're paying you millions for something that cost you nothing. No investment, no risk, just my name on their building. They associated it with luxury, with success, with a certain over-the-top style that was uniquely mine. The bankruptcy was just a chapter, not the whole book. The conference room at Citibank felt like a funeral parlor. Donald, you understand the position you're in. You owe us collectively $975 million. Your properties are hemorrhaging money. Your personal guarantee means you're all in this with me, I said, leaning forward. The room erupted. Voices raised. Fists pounded tables. Gentlemen, I said, standing up. I want to license my name to hotels, buildings, products, everything. That night, I couldn't sleep. By 3 a.m., I had filled 20 pages, not with financial projections or property analyses, with branding strategies. The next morning, something extraordinary happened. My phone rang at 6 a.m. It was Harrison. We'll restructure, he said, his voice tired. But Donald, you need to understand. I understand perfectly, I replied. What happened next shocked everyone. I didn't just restructure the debt. I restructured my entire approach to business. People love a phoenix, I told my publicist Maria. She looked at me skeptically. Donald, your name is toxic right now. No one wants to do business with. Watch me, I said. I started small. A licensing deal here. A management contract there. Then came the moment that changed everything. I was walking through the lobby of the Plaza Hotel, a property I'd de-lost in the bankruptcy, when I overheard 2 tourists. Is this a Trump hotel? The woman asked her husband. Used to be, he replied. He lost it when he went bankrupt. That's too bad, she said. The Trump hotels were always so luxurious. That's when it hit me. People didn't associate my name with failure. I immediately called my lawyer. Donald, who's going to want to license the name of someone who just proved he's unsinkable? I finished. The first licensing deal was small, a development in Florida that wanted the Trump name. They paid me $5 million just to use it. This is insane, Maria said when I told her. Not nothing, I corrected. It cost me everything to build this name. Now I'm just collecting on that investment. Your personal brand is your greatest asset. If you're not building it, you're losing money. Subscribe now for more lessons on turning your name into your fortune. By 1997, I was back. Not just financially. That was the easy part. I was back in the public consciousness as a symbol of American resilience. The Art of the Comeback became a bestseller. People wanted to know how I did it. The truth? It wasn't about the money. It was about the story. The hardest part was realizing that everything wasn't what I thought it was. Not yet. I thought it was the buildings, the casinos, the planes. But the real everything was my belief in myself. And that I never lost. I remember sitting with my son Doan Jr. one evening, looking out over the New York skyline from my Trump Tower penthouse. Dad, he asked, what was the hardest part about losing everything? Built a small fortune in Queens. Your grandfather took that and built more. But what did they really build? They built a name, a reputation, a brand that said, Trump means quality. I thought for a moment. There I was, back on it, worth $2.9 billion. Harrison, the banker from Citibank, called me. He nodded, but I could see he didn't fully understand. Let me tell you something, son. Your great-grandfather came here with nothing. You never thought I'd make it back. I never thought I wouldn't. But you almost lost it all, he said. Those things matter. But what matters more is the story you tell about yourself. First to yourself, then to the world. I could have been the guy who lost everything. Or I could be the guy who lost everything and came back stronger. The facts were the same. The story was different. The man who had been $900 million in debt was now teaching America how to succeed in business. No, I smiled. I almost lost all the things. But the name? The brand? That got stronger. Because now, it didn't just mean quality. But I owned something more valuable. I owned the name on those buildings. It meant comeback. It meant resilience. It meant that even when everything goes wrong, a Trump finds a way to win. Make it strong enough to weather any storm. Make it tall enough that everyone can see it. Make it valuable enough that it stands on its own. After, I realized it was about resilience and comeback. Your name should mean something specific in people's minds. What do you want people to think when they hear your name? Work backward from that vision. What are the 3 to 5 unshakable values that define you? Write them down. What could I rebuild with just my name? These should be qualities that remain true, whether you're winning or losing. Make sure you're the author, not just a character. Subscribe to follow more stories of transformation. And remember, your brand isn't what happens to you. It's what you build from what happens to you. But you can't take away his ability to create value. And the greatest value you can create is a personal brand so strong that it becomes your greatest asset. The real transformation came when I realized I didn't need to own everything with my name on it. I just needed to own the name. By 2004, when The Apprentice premiered, I had completed one of the greatest rebranding campaigns in business history. "You're fired" became a catchphrase. But the real message was different. You can always hire yourself back. If this story resonates with you, share it with someone who needs to hear that comebacks are possible. Instead, I told my story my way. Whatever challenge you're facing, you get to decide what it means. Are you someone who failed or someone learning to succeed? Frame your story before others frame it for you. Drop a comment about what you're building back from. I'll never forget the day in 2007 when Forbes published their billionaires list. "Donald," he said, "I have to admit, I never thought that's the difference between us." I interrupted, but not unkindly. He laughed. "You know what? You taught us something. Sometimes the person is worth more than the paper." That's the lesson most people miss. They think business is about assets, about cash flow, about market conditions. When I was at my lowest, I had a choice. Your personal brand isn't what happens to you. It's how you frame what happens to you. Today, when young entrepreneurs ask me for advice, I tell them this: build your name like you're building a skyscraper. Because here, that's what I learned in that conference room with 47 bankers, holding my future in their hands. They thought they owned my buildings. And a name, a real brand, that's something no bankruptcy can take away. The practical lesson: building your unshakable personal brand. Here's what you can apply to your own life starting today. 1. Define your core brand values. Before my bankruptcy, I thought my brand was about wealth and luxury. 2. Control your narrative. When I was $900 million in debt, I could have hidden. 3. Invest in your name, not just your business. Most people build businesses. Smart people build brands. Ask yourself right now, if I lost everything tomorrow except my reputation, what would that reputation be worth? The difference between temporary success and lasting empire isn't what you own. It's who you become in the process of building it. When those bankers thought they had me cornered, they forgot one thing. You can take away a man's assets. Build your name like your future depends on it. Because it does. Final thought. Your comeback story is being written right now. The empire isn't the buildings. The empire is the builder. And that no one can take away.
See, if you've made it this far and are ready to prosper, click on one of the stories appearing on your screen. Each story is a compass guiding you toward true financial prosperity. See you there.